All right, it is the evening weather briefing from Monday, October the 6th, and this is the evening edition. I am Josh Brown. I hope that you all had a great weekend and also hope that you had a great Monday. And as for closing out our day itself, we do have some mostly dry weather across central Florida after another day of seeing some scattered on and off showers and tropical downpours, which wasn't just today, but that happened over the past couple of days, especially over the weekend. But we have more on the way as we head into the day on Tuesday, and it could linger into the day on Wednesday too, which I'll break it down with the timing here in just a little bit, and of course with the update on the tropics too. So all of that here in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and get to the radar and see what's going on across central Florida. And as mentioned just now, most of central Florida is dry out there mostly, but the exception is for northeastern Lake County as we go in for a closer view, because there are some showers still happening in areas like near Fruitland Park, around Lisbon, Harbor Shores, up towards Umatilla, Confer, and the Altoona communities. And we also have a few more showers over here a little east of there, east of Altoona, that is, but over here on top of, we'll say, highways. We can get it from a closer view here. Right on top of Maggie Jones Road, which is basically just to the east and southeast of the communities of Paisley, Johnson's Corner, and Chano Lakes. And we also have a few more showers also over here in parts of Volusia County, right on top of highways 17 and 11. And this is around the De Leon Springs and the De Leon Springs Heights communities. Yet, as you can see here on the latest map, let me go ahead and turn on the loop here, and it looks like some of these lingering showers are moving quickly from due east to west. We'll say at about 40 to 45 miles an hour, but they should be lingering here pretty soon within the next, we'll say, maybe about the next hour or so. But I do believe that most of the showers that we have here this evening should be gone by midnight. So just understand that. But other than that, like I said before, most areas, as you can see across the area, Central Florida, that is looking pretty mostly dry out there. Besides the showers up in northeastern Lake County, but let's go ahead and check out some of the latest rainfall totals that parts of our area may have gotten from the last couple of days. And I have to say here that the eastern side of the state saw some pretty good amounts since I guess Friday or Saturday. If we go in for a closer view towards Osceola and Brevard counties, is those indications over the last couple of days between about 9 to 11 inches from Harmony and stretching off towards the far east you go into the western portion of Brevard County near Lake Washington. So that's a lot of rain for sure. And then it looks like we got more of the same thing up here just a bit north around northern Brevard County, around Scottsmore, Oronchia, and up towards southern Volusia County, just near, or I should say a little bit south of the Oak Hill communities. But right here in the Orlando metro, we only picked up around 2 to 3 inches in the last few days, so it's been lesser than it is farther east you go, with about 2 to 4, perhaps if not up to 5 inches just south of town. We'll say from Disney, stretching over towards the Orlando International Airport in Wedgefield. Now in Poinciana, you got more of the same thing too. You picked up around 2 to 3 inches in the last few days, with perhaps around as high as 5 to 6 inches in Lakeland. And then over here in Palm Bay, looks like you have received up to around 3 to 5 inches of rain since Saturday for you, and perhaps about 1 to 3 inches in Cape Canaveral. Up around Daytona Beach, you've received up to about 5 to 6 inches in total, mostly just southwest of town, and then about 2 to 4 inches for southern portions of Volusia County from Deltona and off towards the west you go into northeastern Lake County around the communities of Paisley and surrounding locations. But it seems the western side of our market, such as Marion County, down south you go into Sumter, we'll say into Hillsborough County, saw lesser amounts of rain where they have not gotten that much in the last few days. So the totals in those locations have received about a tenth to a quarter of an inch. And the same goes up here for Flagler County around the Palm Coast area and surrounding locations. So yeah. But like I said before, more scattered tropical downpours are on the way heading into the next couple days. And like I mentioned before, I'll break it down with the timing on the latest HER and the NAM models here in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and switch over to the satellite, because we still have some tropical activity happening across portions of the Atlantic region. Well, one out in the Atlantic and the other over in portions of the Gulf Coast side. And just FYI, there are still flood watches posted here for both Volusia and Brevard counties. Now in effect here for the next, we'll say, hour or so. So the flood watch is almost over here, but let's check out the coastal flood advisory that we have also for the coastal communities of Flagler, Volusia, and Brevard counties, and that still continues here for a little bit longer, at least until 5 o'clock on Wednesday, where again where the risk of rip currents and rough surfing will be on the high side. Unfortunately, heading into the day on Tuesday and Wednesday, so some coastal flooding of low-lying lots, parks, and roadways could occur near the shoreline, and there might be some isolated road closures too. So just keep that in mind. But dangerous swimming and surfing conditions and localized beach erosion is going to be the other big concern too. So if you're thinking about heading to the beach either on Tuesday or Wednesday, I would recommend still continue to stay out of the waters. But it will not rain all day though, so just to understand that. But just again, just to FYI, if you're thinking about swimming along the waters at the beaches, again, the best thing to do is just stay out. But but the rain will be on and off at times. So there should be some sun. So there should be a little bit of sun if you're planning on getting some tanning in if you're planning on doing that. Hope that makes sense to you all. I try to explain a little more. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the tropics. And it looks like we still have a pretty strong system out there across the Atlantic region, which we've been watching over the last couple of days. And it looks like as we check out the latest info from the National Hurricane Center, this is now known as Invest 95. The satellite imagery just indicates that there is an area of low pressure located about 1,500 miles east of the Windward Islands, and it continues to become better organized. Conditions do appear to be more favorable for further development of this system, and a depression, tropical depression, or perhaps a storm can likely form in the next day or so while it moves quickly due to the west-northwestward across the central tropical Atlantic. And the system is expected to be near or north of the northern Leeward Islands between Thursday and Friday. So interest there should continue to monitor its progress. So if you have some, I guess, vacation plans near over at the Leeward Islands in the next couple of days, I wouldn't not cancel it just yet, but just closely monitor it just to be on the safe side. And it appears that the Hurricane Center has given about a 90% chance of formation within the next 5 to 7 days. And if this does become into a tropical storm, which will likely be the case, the next named storm will be Jerry. But the good news is, though, this will not be an issue here for Florida or the east coast of the United States as we head into the next several days, because since the system is becoming a bit more stronger, it's going to start to take a right sharp turn to the northwest and northward. And also the other thing is there's an approaching cold front coming in from the northwest to the southeast that will help prevent also from tropics to get closer to where we are. So that's a good sign we really could use. And then we also have a little smaller development over here towards the southwestern Gulf Coast region. This is near the coast of Mexico, or the peninsula side of that is. If we could go ahead and switch over to the Gulf satellite. See, let me see if there's a satellite view of the little blob, if I can find one. Looks like there's not, but that's okay. All right, so as you can see here, this is another wave that we're watching again closely, but this is over the southwestern part of the Gulf Coast. And the latest info from the Hurricane Center indicates that there's a weak area of low pressure moving across the Yucatan Peninsula, and it is expected to emerge into the Bay of Campeche during the next day or so, which will be tomorrow. And the system is producing yet a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms, and some slow development of the system is possible over the camp of Campeche before it moves inland by the middle portion of this week. But regardless of development, areas of gusty winds and heavy rain are likely across portions of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and southern Mexico during the next couple of days. And so far, they're given about a 10% chance of formation within the next 7 days. But the good news is, yet this will not be affecting anywhere near or around the state of Florida or near or elsewhere across the Gulf Coast of the United States, which is also another positive news we could use too. So yeah, that's the latest there on the tropics, and so far elsewhere across the central Caribbean and for the big portion of the Atlantic, the tropics are quiet with no formations expected within the next 5 to 7 days. And remember, though, we're still in hurricane season, but the peak of it tends to wind down here pretty soon, probably within the next week or so. But the official ending again is on November 30th. So you still can't let your guards down, even if we're heading into the off portion of the peak season. So just keep that in mind too. So let me go ahead and turn off the tropical icons and also turn off the satellite and switch back to radar. And like I said before, most of our area is dry this evening, but again, there are still a few spotty areas where there might be a few quick moving showers this evening. And we have some over here in northeastern Lake County, as I showed you just a few minutes ago. But we also have some that are trying to form a little bit into the southern tier of Osceola County and also over the eastern and southeastern Polk counties between, we'll say, from highways 441 over towards Winter Haven and the Bardo communities. And again, they're spotty in nature and quick moving, so they should not last any much longer. And again, I'll turn on the loop here, and it seems that some of these quick moving showers, you can say, is moving from due east to west at the same pace at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. And like I mentioned, like for Lake County, they should continue here for a little bit longer, but they should be ending here by midnight or so, if not maybe the next hour, if it tends to lose its energy. But anyways, there you have it there with the radar. So let's go ahead and switch over to the temperatures this evening. And as you can see, we have still some pretty mild conditions out there to close out our first Monday of October. We have numbers sitting currently pretty much in the way of upper 70s and lower 80s out there. And the same goes also if you live up north across the Mississippi Valley region. And if we can go ahead and switch over to the HERM model, which does take you through the next the next 18 hours. And yet, if you're just coming on into this live broadcast, I don't mind if you could share this with your friends, families, followers, etc. And my motto, and that is sharing is caring. So yes, besides these showers, they'll be sticking around here for a little bit longer. Temperatures, for the most part, will stay mild here for the rest of the nighttime hours of your Monday, and perhaps the same as we head into Tuesday morning. We'll start off with pretty much in the way of low to mid 70s here for our market, with perhaps a little warm down south, where temperatures may begin in the middle to upper 70s to some of you, like down towards the Keys region, beginning off as high as the lower 80s as Tuesday arrives. Daybreak, that is. But if you go up here just to the north across the eastern side of Alabama on into most of Georgia and for the western portions of South Carolina, numbers may start off a little bit on the cool side. We're talking morning lows beginning in the middle to upper 60s in places like Anniston, Alabama to Atlanta, Macon, Augusta, those areas I've said. And it looks like there might be some upper 60s that could start off the day too for the Panhandle side of the state too, heading into daybreak on Tuesday, and that includes places like Tallahassee, Panama City, those areas over there too. And then we'll see temperatures heating up in the 70s and lower 80s by lunchtime or so for most of the state, and the same again goes for the Mississippi Valley region. And if we can switch over to the NAM model, which does take you through the next couple of days. And yet, just like we have seen over the last few days, we'll see another batch of some scattered tropical downpours across portions of our coverage area. Mostly we'll focus from Orlando and point south into Polk, Osceola, and Brevard counties here by noon or so. on your Tuesday, and then of course fading out just a little bit here between about 5 or 6 in the evening, just in time for the evening commute. And then making our way into overnight late Tuesday on into early Wednesday morning. Starting off for most places mostly dry, but there might be just a few, 1 or 2 isolated showers, especially towards the eastern side of the peninsula from Flagler County down towards Brevard counties. But the coverage of that stays extremely low. And it looks like the chances for rain on Wednesday will start to be going down around 20 to 30%. So I think most spots will stay mostly dry as midweek arrives. Any chances for a few showers by Wednesday evening will be mostly along the eastern side of the state, once again, from Flagler down towards Brevard counties. And it looks like the activity will continue to linger here between about 1 or 2 in the morning on Thursday, too, if that's the case. So as far as rain totals go for the next few days, pretty much staying light here. We're talking about anywhere from around a quarter to a half inch or so from Jacksonville down into near the Scottsmore communities, with perhaps another 1 to 2 inches around Osceola and Brevard counties in those oranges and reds, with about 2 to 4 inches right down here towards the deep southern part of the state from Naples down towards Marco Island. So let's go ahead and check temperatures heading into the next couple of days. And yet, moving into the afternoon, we'll see temperatures yet only getting up as high as the upper 70s and into the lower 80s around central Florida. And the same thing, of course, heading up north across the Panhandle side of the state in the Mississippi Valley region. And then making our way into the late night hours of a Tuesday on into early Wednesday morning shows yet another warm start with low temperatures in the low to mid 70s, with a bit of a slightly cooler trend up north where temperatures may begin in the upper 60s and low 70s for Interstate 10 and north towards the valley. And then by 3 o'clock Wednesday, we'll see temperatures yet, just like tomorrow, only getting up as high as the upper 70s and into the low, and for some spots in the mid 80s, especially towards the western coast of the state of Florida, from Cedar Key down into Marco Island. And then you got high temperatures yet only getting up into the upper 70s and lower 80s range for the Mississippi Valley as the mid-afternoon portion of Wednesday approaches too. And then as the clock ends at about 2 in the morning on Thursday, yet no changes there, as we're expecting yet potential lows to get down into the low to mid 70s. And it looks like with that approaching front moving in from the north to south as far as the central part of Mississippi and Alabama, that will start to slowly drop temperatures in the mid 60s heading into the 2 a.m. hour on Thursday morning. But we'll look at the next trend here now and see how cool it could get once sunrise arrives around that time. So basically, still trying to looks like temperatures will start to continue to slowly drop in the low 60s with the front moving in yet into portions of Mississippi and Alabama. But for us here, we'll start things off yet as usual with low to mid 70s across the area. And then moving into your Thursday afternoon, we'll see yet the rain chances picking up again just a little bit with that tropical moisture again building up from the Bahamas region. So basically from Duval County down towards the Keys regions where the better chances for rain will be at on Thursday, as the coverage will start to increase as high as 50 to a 60% coverage, leaving the northwest side of the state remaining mostly dry for now, as you can see. And looking at the high temperatures on Thursday, and it shows yet staying average, pretty much in the way of low to middle 80s. And then as the front moves in, from the north to south, as far as we'll say close to Atlanta, it seems that temperatures may get down as low as the 50s and lower 60s. So pretty much maybe it could be probably a jacket weather day for that area as late week arrives. But if we do check the low temperatures that morning, it only shows yet, or I think I went over that just now. So my apologies. I guess I meant to look for Friday mornings low temperatures, which we're going to do that right now. And it seems that temperatures early Friday morning will start to turn out to be even more cooler as the front pushes a bit more southward. We're talking lows in the middle to upper 50s to some in the low 60s for the valley. And it seems that the 60s could extend well a little south into the panhandle side of the state, with low temperatures for us here for central and southern Florida staying the same, with another round of low to mid 70s to begin off that day with. And then here is the second half of the day on Friday, and it shows yet another day of some showers and thunderstorms, with the chances yet still increasing as high as 60 to a 70% coverage, and some of that could be heavy at times. Yeah, along I-95 from Jacksonville down into the Keys region, with less rain chances yet a little westward towards the Interstate 75 corridor. And yeah, checking out those high temperatures on Friday, we're talking pretty much staying the same like it'll be for this week, but heading into Friday with numbers ranging anywhere from the low to mid 80s for both central and southern Florida. And it looks like temperatures up north will turn out to be kind of refreshing thanks to that upcoming front, as numbers will start dropping in the 60s and 70s for places like Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, Jackson, Atlanta, and the Charleston communities, with highs in the lower 80s. Also for the Interstate 10 corridor between Pensacola and off towards the far east you go into the Tallahassee communities. Now let's check the low temperatures here for the first half of Saturday, and it shows yet another cool start up north, where lows may begin off in the mid 50s. Again for most of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. And it seems that these 50s could extend yet a little south into the Panhandle section of Florida, from Pensacola, stretching off a little east you go near Panama City. And it appears that if this is right, by Saturday morning, the front may start to drop a little bit more south as far as Marion County, and that could start to bring temperatures as low as the low to mid 60s from near Spring Hill up into near the Jacksonville communities. So yeah, that could feel pretty good to start off the weekend if you got some plans early that morning, whether if you're heading to play some golf, or perhaps taking the dogs out for a morning walk, or maybe a morning jog. I think you're gonna like this change on temperatures as the Saturday morning time frame yet again arrives. And then this is the second half of the day on Saturday, and it shows yet more rain still on the way, but the chances will start to drop, we'll say, at about 50%. Again, for the east side of the state, with perhaps still some pretty good chances down in the deep southern part of Florida, around places like we'll say Fort Pierce, Jupiter, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Naples, those areas in that section. And with that right behind the cold front, we'll bring some drier air for the Mississippi Valley region and for the Panhandle side of the state too, as you can see. And checking out those high temperatures on Saturday, and it shows numbers ranging pretty much anywhere from the 70s and into the lower 80s, we'll call it, with pretty much at least a little bit cooler for areas north of the state, where temperatures may only get up as high as the mid to upper 70s, to some in the low 80s range as Saturday arrives too. But if we do check the lows here for the first half of the day on Sunday, and looky there, we're talking this time temperatures dropping as low as the low to mid 60s. Yeah, it looks like most of the state could see some refreshing fall-like temperatures to begin off that day. So if you've been looking forward to that, I guess, for a while, then you might be in luck. Again, thanks to that approaching cold front, they'll start to move in from north to south. But if you need some 50s, you'll have to go up north, because that's where it'll be. Anywhere from the Panhandle up into most of Alabama, Georgia, and portions of South Carolina. So jacket weather on the way for sure, heading into the next several days. And luckily, the rain chances on Sunday will start to drop, we'll say, at about 30%, as that system starts to pull away from us and off towards the Atlantic. So if we do see coastal showers, it seems the chances yet will stay at about 30% from Jacksonville down south into the Keys region. And yeah, with that dry air moving in from the northwest to the southeast, thanks to that front, it looks like it'll be a pretty good day, I guess, to get out and enjoy the nice, refreshing conditions, you can call it, not just for the western and northwest side of the state of Florida, but also for the Mississippi Valley region. And as we do check out the high temperatures that day, we're talking yet numbers ranging anywhere from the upper 70s and into the lower 80s. So, yeah, big change to temperatures coming our way pretty soon, as you can tell. And if you look up here just to the north around portions of the coastline of South Carolina, we're talking temperatures only getting up as high as the 50s and 60s. And that includes places like Myrtle Beach and surrounding areas, if that's the case. So it may not be a good beach day up there, if that's correct. And then looking ahead to Monday of next week, October 13th, and yet another cool start with low temperatures in the low to mid 60s, with some low to mid 50s again beginning off for the panhandle side of the state of Florida and for Alabama, and off towards the far east you go into yet the coastline of South Carolina. And then this is the second half of the day on the 13th, which is Columbus Day, and it shows yet most of the southeast turning out to be mostly dry. There might be a few one or two isolated coastal showers that could form from the coast of Brevard County down south towards the Keys region, but the chances for that stays very low. Yet as the dry air works its way into our region. And looks like as we head towards Columbus Day, temperatures will start to may start to warm things up a little bit, but still looking not too shabby, as we could expect numbers to remain in the low to mid 80s. And that could be the case too as well for portions of the Mississippi Valley region as some of that warm air starts to kick in. Yet, just slowly but surely from due south to north. And then this is the morning of the 14th, which is next Tuesday, and it shows yet another cool start with some 50s and 60s in the southeast. So it seems the cooling trend could continue, not just for the weekend mornings in the next coming days, or perhaps Monday morning, but Tuesday morning too, if you're looking for some more. All right, and this is the second half of the day on Tuesday of next week, and it shows yet things staying mostly dry for the southeast. There might be a little bit of some rain down in the deep southern part of the state, but the chances yet stays minimal at about 30%. Again, with that leftover moisture, if there's some. And yet, checking out those high temperatures, and it shows yet numbers ranging from the upper 70s and into the low, and for some of you in the mid 80s as that day arrives. And it looks like temperatures up towards the coastline of South Carolina, like Myrtle Beach, for example, could see numbers only getting up in the 60s and into the low 70s range. So it looks like there might be a much cooler day up there than it is here. And then this is on Wednesday of next week, the 15th, and it shows yet most of the southeast still staying fairly quiet, but there might be a little bit of energy coming in from the Atlantic, and that could bring maybe a few coastal showers yet for areas between Jacksonville down into near Brevard counties, with the rain covers for now staying mostly at about 20% or less, but it won't be much. And it looks like the temperatures may start to drop a few degrees cooler, with numbers this time getting down into the upper 70s and lower 80s for now, with numbers yet looking to be a bit slightly warmer than it is here in the mid 80s for the western half of Alabama on into central and southern sections of Mississippi, and for the east side of Louisiana. And yet it looks like the morning low temperatures here by Wednesday will turn out to be not quite as cool than it'll be for this weekend or early next week. So instead of seeing mid 50s up north, it looks like morning lows may begin in the upper 50s and low 60s. So slightly cooler, but not quite as cool though. And then you got morning lows yet in the mid to upper 60s, yet remaining for central Florida. Again, if you're looking for more of that. All right, and this is on Thursday, October 16th, and it shows some of that moisture building up from the south, and that could bring some increasing rain chances returning for the southern part of the state, and perhaps maybe some over towards the coastal communities from Brevard County up towards St. Johns County. The western and northwest side of the state and the Mississippi Valley region turns to stay mostly dry for now, also heading into the 16th. And it seems that temperatures will start to warm things up a few degrees above normal. We're talking return of summer average temperatures in the middle to upper 80s. To some of you, maybe in the lower 90s in places like Panama City, Destin, Montgomery, Jackson, and the Valdosta communities, if that's right. All right, now this is the land of voodoo country. This takes you into the day on Friday, October 17th, and it shows yet the moisture still building up from the Gulf, and that could yet still fire up those high rain chances this time covering I-4 and due south towards the Keys region, we'll say at about 60 to a 70% coverage. Still, the panhandle side of the state up into the Mississippi Valley region tends to stay fairly quiet, yet as that week concludes, not this week, but next week. And we'll keep temperatures for now running in the middle to upper 80s and lower 90s too for the northern side of the state up in the Mississippi Valley region, with all that moisture building up from the Gulf, and with those high rain chances firing up in the southern part of the state, that could start to knock down the temperatures a bit in the 70s and into the lower, if not mid 80s, if that's correct. But since we're in the land of voodoo country, that can all change as we get closer to mid to late October. So I'll keep you guys posted as usual. And yet, the wet weather pattern continues to be with us heading into Saturday, October 18th, as the moisture again tends to shift up a bit northward, covering all of central Florida, with some of that rain moving in towards the panhandle side of the state too, but not quite as high than it is for central and south Florida. And if this is also right, temperatures, because of the high rain chances increasing, will start dipping down into the 70s and into the low, if not mid 80s across the area, with temperatures, starting to heat up a little bit in the lower to middle 90s for Jackson, stretching off towards the far east to go into Savannah and Charleston. So a little bit of a summer-like pattern maybe returning on that day, the 18th itself, that is. But yet it's too soon to know. So that's why I've said before, this can always change. And yet, more wet weather continues for most of the state of Florida heading into the day on Sunday, October 19th, leaving yet the Mississippi Valley region still staying fairly quiet as the moisture again continues to slowly build up from south to north. And with that, we're talking temperatures yet staying quite the same due to those rain chances increasing, with pretty much in the way of 70s and into the low, if not mid 80s. Still got some hotter temperatures in the lower to mid 90s remaining for the panhandle side of the state of Florida, up into extreme southeastern corner of Alabama, on into central and southern Georgia. But it looks like there might be another front moving in from the northwest to the southeast, moving in towards as far as Birmingham, and that could start to bring yet another cool down. So that's something we can watch, but yet it's just way too soon to know at this point. All right, now this is on Monday, October 20th. It seems that the rain chances for central Florida will start to tend to wind things down, as the better chances will start to shift down farther south you go down towards the southern part of Florida. And some of that rain can be heavy at times too locally if that's the case. But again, it's too soon to know, and that can easily change as we get closer to the late part of the month. And yet here comes that new front, and that will allow temperatures to start dropping anywhere from the 60s and into the lower 70s across the Mississippi Valley and for the northwest side of the Panhandle. Ahead of that, still temperatures looks to stay quite warm in the mid to upper 80s to some of you, in the low 90s, especially just north of the metro. That includes Ocala, Gainesville, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and the Palm Coast communities. But if we do check the low temperatures that morning, it shows yet temperatures dropping in the low to mid 50s with that front as it moves into Mississippi, Alabama, and western Georgia. So again, we'll see how that goes. But check out these low temperatures heading into the first half of Tuesday, October 21st. We're talking yet not just cool, but even as more as chilly. We're basically talking temperatures beginning to start off in the upper 30s for the first time, and low 40s in the Mississippi Valley region. And if that's also right with these 30s, especially for Birmingham and east you go near Atlanta, that could lead to some patchy frost and a light freeze potential for the first time this fall season. So again, something we can watch, but it's just way too soon to know at this point. But some of these 40s could extend well down into the panhandle side of the state of Florida, from Pensacola, stretching off towards the east you go near Tallahassee. And there could be some 50s too with that front as it pushes closer to as far as Marion County. We're talking a potential low of 56 degrees for the area, and perhaps a low of 52 for Jacksonville, 53 for Gainesville and Cedar Key. That could be a big change for sure if the trend yet is right. But again, it can change because this is way too early to know at this point if that's going to happen. But if you're looking for some more cool temperatures than warm, then Fingers crossed. And of course, with that front moving in towards our direction, that means that all the moisture will start to push farther south, still bringing some of that rain over down towards southern Florida. There might be a few more showers with that front moving into for the eastern side of the state, but other than that, the western and the northwest side of Florida, in the Mississippi Valley, will tend to be quieting down as far as the weather goes heading into that same day. And check out these high temperatures by Tuesday the 21st. Once the front moves closer into central Florida, we're talking numbers dropping as low as the upper 60s and low 70s. Yeah, that could be a nice fall like day if that's right, and that could also help drop the lower humidity levels too. So, like I said before, fingers crossed, but that can change. And it looks like high temperatures up north across the valley tends to get up as high as the low to mid 60s for that same exact day, as you're seeing here on the latest GFS model trend. And if we do look at the low temperatures here for the first half of Wednesday, the 22nd, we're talking basically not quite as chilly than it'll be for the 21st. We're talking this time just in the 40s for Interstate 10 and north towards the Mississippi Valley region. And yet another cool start for areas north and west of Orlando, where we could see some 50s and 60s for places like Orlando to Deltona, the Villages, Clermont, Ocala, Gainesville, up around Jacksonville. And then high temperature wise, heading into the second half of the 22nd shows, if we can switch over to there, warming up a little bit, but still looking to be a nice trend you can call it, with some 70s and lower 80s for not the panhandle, but the peninsula side of Florida, with temperatures hovering in the low to mid 70s up around the Mississippi Valley region, and for the panhandle side of the state of Florida. But weather-wise shows things turning out to be mostly dry, as yet all that moisture starts to push even farther south towards the southern Gulf and the Bahamas region. Yet, as the front continues to move from north to south, as you can tell as well. But other than that, there you have it with the latest GFS model trend. So, what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and sign out of Facebook Live on this Monday evening. And I hope to have the next update right back here tomorrow night, or maybe a little earlier than that. Just depends, how much time I have left, whether it's before or after work. So we'll see. But anyways, I'll continue to post more notes or updates on my blog and social media platforms 24/7. In the meantime, please continue to stay safe by taking care of yourselves and each other, and God bless.